So, guess what, guys? I have new dry erase markers. So, I can use the board all I won't look at how many. I just got a new pack of dry erase markers. So, we are on to big and better things. Washington, we are going over Washington's becoming president. Washington is elected president. And the Bill of Rights in this video. So, once the Constitution received approval from the minimum 9 states, the framers forged ahead with structuring a new government. March 4th, 1789 was selected as the date for the new Congress of the United States to convene, but it was another month before there was enough delegates present to count ballots cast for the President of the United States. So, the main goal during this exercise was to create a new governmental structure. New governmental structure. And they are doing this by having a new Congress and a president. Because we threw out the Articles of Confederation. Alrighty. Ooh, I'm skipping 2 ahead. On April 30th, 1789, the final tally of votes showed that George Washington had won the popular vote and unanimously won the Electoral College votes to become the first president of the United States. Washington is the only president ever to claim unanimous success in a presidential election. John Adams had the second highest total of the popular vote, and with that count he was elected as the first vice president of the United States. Washington had not campaigned for the office of the president, and he did not accept the position with excitement. He feared the strain and embarrassments which might weigh heavily on a person charged with leading a government through its infancy. However, his mediation skills, spirit of community, and role as a leader through the Revolutionary War made him a popular choice for president, and he felt a sense of duty to serve in this role. Washington wisely surrounded himself with a knowledgeable, experienced staff. He chose Thomas Jefferson to head the Department of State and Alexander Hamilton to serve as Treasury Secretary. Vice President Adams and Attorney General Edmund Randolph, Hamilton, and Jefferson were all indispensable in Washington's administration. Washington's collaborated with his trusted staff, brought the presidential cabinet into existence. So, coming along with the president is this creation of a cabinet. Creation of a cabinet. And what is a cabinet? So basically, a cabinet is trusted advisors to the president. Trusted advisors to the president. They would make sure that what he was doing is correct and offer him guidance to do what he is doing. Congress established the judicial branch of government with a 6-member Supreme Court, 3 circuit courts, and 13 district courts. However, it was Washington's responsibility to select a Supreme Court Chief Justice, the head of the Supreme Court, to oversee the 5 associate justices. Washington selected John Jay, previously known for his work on the Federalist Papers. With this selection, President Washington's administration was in place to meet the challenge of guiding the new country. So, Washington was in charge of not only being president, but guiding this country through its infancy, because it was a baby. So, we are going to jump back down to this problem we are facing ourselves with right now, and it's the Constitution. And more specifically, this is the story behind how we got our first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. So several of the states were hesitant to ratify the Constitution. New York in particular feared the ratification of the Constitution, as it was written would transfer many civil liberties away from the people to a large authoritarian government. Promises made by the Federalists that the Bill of Rights would be the first priority of the new Congress paved the way for ratification. Because in New York's mind, the Constitution that's our big goal. In New York's mind, and my mind, big centralized government. We don't like it. And the only reason why this new Constitution was passed was because of a guarantee by the Federalist guaranteed, what did they guarantee? Bill of Rights. Guaranteed the Bill of Rights. The new Congress, guided by James Madison, was determined to follow through on that promise. Madison realized that a Bill of Rights was potentially dangerous if written incorrectly. He also understood that amendments to the Constitution could only be passed either by a new constitutional convention or by a two-thirds vote of both houses in Congress. Calling a new constitutional convention was impracticable given the tenuous grips the Federalists had held on the first round of ratification. Madison took it upon himself to draft amendments addressing specific individual freedoms and obtain approval from both the House and the Senate. So he had a little bit of a big ordeal ahead of him. He not only had to make these Bill of Rights, but it had to pass both the House and Senate. The issues addressed in the Bill of Rights include freedom of religion, press, speech, and assembly, the right to keep and bear firearms, the right to refuse to house soldiers on private property, the right to trial by jury and due process of law, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, and protections against cruel and unusual punishment. So this created the Bill of Rights that we know today. These subjects would be covered in the first 8 of 10 amendments known as the Bill of Rights. Madison used the Virginia Declaration of Rights, written by George Mason, as he led the development of the National Bill of Rights. So this is going national. Madison originally drafted additional amendments. 17 proposed amendments were adopted by the House, with the Senate adopting 12. The vote on those 12 then went to the state, which voted on each amendment separately. When the votes were tallied, the states had approved 8 of Madison's amendments dealing with personal liberties, and 2 amendments that gave authority back to the states and individuals on any rights and powers that were not expressly addressed by the Constitution. So there is 2 groups of amendments. Individual rights and power to the states. So individual rights takes 8, power to the states takes 2, equaling 10 amendments. And this is why So, the giving power to the state. So, whatever laws, whatever rights are included in the Constitution is set in stone. But if it's not expressed into the Constitution, the Bill of Rights gives discretion towards the state if they wanted to make a law themselves. This Bill of Rights went into effect on December 15th, 1791, assuring liberties for all free white men, because slaves did not have these liberties. And yeah. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we are going to talk about the development of the two-party system. Hope to see you then.